This is going to be the ultimate guide to Evilcraft. I'm going to take you from start to finish and everything in between for this mod in a beginner-friendly manner. If you are new here, my name is Javier and I cover every mod in Minecraft. Check out my channel, loads of playlists for different mods, and I'd love to know which mods you want to see next. So, Evilcraft. It is nighttime. I usually film these in the day. Let's just turn our brightness up to make sure you can see what the hell is going on. As a lot of the things you can be doing in Evilcraft will actually be at night time, because that's when evil things happen. The first thing you are going to want to find is dark ore and deep slate dark ore. Doesn't really matter which one you get, of course. You only need an iron pickaxe to mine both of them. However, it would be advisable to get fortune on your pick. And there's a reason for that. So when I mine them with fortune, what you're going to see is I get two things. And that is going to be crushed dark gems and dark gems. If you do not use fortune, you will only get dark gems. You will not get crushed dark gems as well. And the crushed dark gems are actually quite important. You can't generally get this by using them in a crusher from Mechanism or, I don't know, any kind of crushing machine, unless the mod pack you're playing has actually changed the recipe. You can only get these with fortune. Regarding the Y level you're actually going to find these ores at, you can generally find them near redstone. The next thing you want to do is go and get an apple. And what we're going to do with this apple is put it in our inventory with a dark gem and turn it into a darkened apple. I wouldn't eat this, maybe feed it to some animal. So remember, this is Evilcraft. The stuff we're doing is pretty damn sick. Sick to my stomach. That's how sick you're going to be by the end of this video. Because this is evil. So I'm going to get a pig. I've actually explained why we're doing what we're doing. So the reason we're doing all of this nonsense is to actually get the tutorial book. So we're going to feed the dark apple to a pig, and it's going to jump around, all higgledy-piggledy, and then when the pig finally dies, you can see that some sort of anomaly has happened. So when that effect happens, what you actually want to do, which I'm now going to have to do again because I actually was too busy talking, is get a book as well. So I should have said you also need to get a book, okay? So I'm going to feed the pig the darkened apple. Don't eat it yourself. It will actually inflict a lot of damage. And when it dies, you just want to throw a book down into this anomaly. Throw your book into this spirit portal, as it's called. And what you're going to get back is an Origins of Darkness, obtained by feeding a darkened apple to a mob and quickly throwing a book at the resulting anomaly. And that is how you get the Origins of Darkness. Now, if we open this up, you can see it's got chapters in it. The chapters are the first age and the second age. And these are basically the two main chapters of the book. But we don't need to look through that because, of course, you have me. Now that we've got our book, what you want to search out is one of these things, a dark temple. These are actually really cool, and I love them. So once you get here, climb up somehow, and you'll notice there's some sort of beacon in the center called an environmental accumulator. So what we're going to make first is a weather container. Using all of the dark gems, a glass bottle, and some sugar, we can make a weather container. What this is actually going to do is it's going to absorb the current weather when we throw it into this environmental accumulator here. So currently it is clear weather, meaning, oh dear, I don't know what's going on down there. Meaning, if I get my weather container, and you can see on it, it says empty. If I just right click it, throw it into there, you can see that loads of bubbles are coming up and there's a charge at the top of my screen. Once that is done, it suddenly turns it black and I now have my only sunshine. Oh, that's lovely. So if I just turn it to raining, weather rain, and then I get a weather container. And can you see that it's charging back up at the top of the screen? You do need to wait for that charge to actually, charge back up. fully before you use the environmental accumulator again. But just to speed things up here, let's look at what we can make with it. If you use the My Only Sunshine with 2 buckets of water, you get When the Rain Begins to Fall, and that is obviously a raining version. The same way that you could just throw a weather container into the environmental accumulator when it is raining. So let's just wait a second. There we go, fully done. Throw it in. Again, it's charging the bottle with the local weather. And plop, because it's raining, I now get the When the Rain Begins to Fall. So there is also the Thunderstruck one, which is obviously when it's thundering. You can also put 3 dark gems with the weather container, with the rain one, to get an eternal water bucket, which is an infinite source of water. And you could also use it with a dark block, which is just 9 dark gems, to get an eternal water block, which is an infinite source of water. 2 glowstone will make it into the Thunderstruck one. So you can actually make it into those. And then if you want to make the Sunshine one, can you make the Sunshine one? No. Okay, you have to put it in there. Now, one other thing you can do with it is actually add 8 ender pearls around it. That's the Thunderstruck one. And that will get you lightning grenades. Now, these are really awesome. There's a lightning grenade I can throw, and lightning will strike wherever it hits. And do you know what? That's probably what started that fire. Oh, no, there's lava down there. Because I was playing around with it, obviously, before I done the tutorial. So these lightning grenades literally will force lightning to strike wherever you do it. If you're playing with other mods where you need something to be hit by lightning, this is a really easy early game way of doing it with Evilcraft. Something else we can actually do here is even not just take the weather away with us, but the biome as well. So as you can see here, I can make a biome extract bottle. Just some glass, crushed dark gem, and dark gem gets you 3 biome extract bottle. So if we're in a taiga biome right now, if I get a biome extract bottle and throw that on there, you can see it takes a lot longer, but it's charging it up. And that is basically charging it with the biome that we are standing in. And these towers, these dark towers, could be found pretty much everywhere. They are in quite a lot of biomes, and they're not very rare either. I have seen quite a few on my travels when making this tutorial. It's getting higher and higher up, as you can see. Getting really, really high. And it just keeps charging and charging until it's done, and then it will obviously just drop back down to the ground. And then, as you can see, it's dropped back down, and it says contents degraded. And this is a biome extract. And when I throw them, what you're going to see is, oh my goodness, what biome is this? It's actually going to be pretty vile. It's going to turn into some sort of evil biome by the looks of it when I throw it down. And that is because it has degraded. And you can only use this so many times, basically, before this happens. So you will get a taiga biome the first time you do it. This is the second time I've done it, and it's degraded, you see. We're going to get evil biomes instead, which are not very pretty. There is a way later game to do this. But if it's the first time using this tower, or this specific tower, it will actually store the biome, and you can throw it, and it would turn it to taiga biomes, which is not happening here because it is already degraded. So do be careful of that. Before we move on, there is also the poisonous libelle that I want to talk to you about, which means dragonfly in Dutch. So these are a little mob that Evilcraft adds, and as you can see here, they look like cute little dragonflies. And in the daytime, they are. But at the night time, they turn into a murderous rage and go crazy. Quite literally, I'm not joking. They actually do go crazy at night time. So when you kill them, what they drop is a poison sac. And then with 4 poison sacs, you can, with a bucket, turn it into a poison bucket. Funny that. And then you could use that to make a poisonous potato or a potion of poison. You could also make a poison tip enchant, which you can apply to your weapon to apply poison from your weapon as well. The next mob we're going to look at is much more sinister than a dragonfly. It is a werewolf. OMG, I can't believe it. So this is a werewolf, and it's pretty hideous, I would say. And when we kill the werewolf, it's going to drop 3 different items. Un, deux, trois. Here we go. It's going to drop a werewolf bone, and you can turn 1 werewolf bone into 15 bone meal. It's going to drop werewolf fur, which you can turn into leather, 5 leather in the crafting table. And there's also werewolf flesh, which when you put with some Garmonbozia, you can get rejuvenated flesh, which you can top up with blood for infinite food. The Garmonbozia is much later in the game, however, so I'm not going to go over that yet. In the daytime, let's spawn a werewolf. If we go time, set, day, poof! The werewolf has turned back into a villager, just like, werewolves do. You can find them in villages. They may trade crushed dark gems for emeralds, and things like that. I'm not actually sure what they trade when they get to master level. But the main use is the free items that they give. I don't believe they really trade anything too exciting. But if you want to go near villages or these dark evil biomes, I believe as well, at nighttime you will find some werewolves. If you actually kill a humanoid player, they will also drop humanoid flesh, which I don't think you could do the same thing with. You can put Garmonbozia with that as well. That's humanoid flesh. And then there's also some enchants that you can get from Evilcraft. There is the Curse of Breaking. This enchantment can be in 3 stages, 1, 2, and 3. And it does the opposite of unbreaking, which isn't really very useful. So rather than making your weapon unbreaking and it lasts longer, breaking will actually make it wear quickly or faster. There's life stealing, 1, 2, and 3 as well. When applying this to your weapons, you will obviously steal parts of your enemy's life. We also have poison tip 1, 2, and 3. That's the one I showed you earlier. This one you can get, or the basic version at least, can be gotten by using poisonous, the poison sacks and the I clearly can't remember, so I'm just going to look. All this umming and ahhing. Here we go. A book and a poison bucket will make you the poison tip 1. That's the only one that you can really create for that one. There's also the Enchanted Book of Unusing. This is actually really useful. If your tool is about to break, it will make it unusable. Which thing you think, oh, I can't use my tool? Only when it is about to break. Meaning you've got enough time to repair it before you don't have to worry about it breaking. You could just use it right up to like 1 durability. And then the unusing one will stop it from breaking and you won't be able to use it any further, which is actually really useful. It's one extra thing off your mind. There's also the Curse of Vengeance. That is going to spawn a Vengeance Spirit when used. Vengeance Spirits are something that we're going to talk about fairly shortly. There's also some miscellaneous items that are really, really useful in Evilcraft. One is, I'm going to whittle through these quite fast as not to bore you. One is the Dark Tank. Now, you can make this with some dark blocks, iron blocks, and glass. And you can see here it supplies 16 buckets worth. Now, what you can also do, if I get a dark tank, a crafting table, you can put these together in the inventory in a crafting table, and now it can actually have 32 buckets. You can just keep doing this, and it will basically just make the tank bigger and bigger. Another thing, if you like doing mob farms, are spikes. An iron ingot and some dark gems make spikes, which you can make into a spiked plate. This will damage mobs that stand on it, and you can place it on a pedestal to drain blood as well. And blood is something we will be using in Evilcraft. This is a really important thing, and this is one way we can get it. However, when you stand on the spiked plate, it won't hurt you. It'll only hurt mobs. There's also a spiky claws, which is good against soft materials, so things like dirt, but you can also use it with 6 attack damage. So it's a weapon and a tool all in one. There's also obscured glass here, which as you can see is, well, it's slightly obscuring my view. This is going to reduce how much light gets through the glass. However, you can still look through it. So that's quite useful, maybe with mob farms, etc. Something else that's quite useful is the Exalted Crafter. So what we could do here is with some crushed dark gems, we can make a wooden Exalted Crafter, which when I put in my inventory, we can have a look at. Basically, you've got a chest here and a crafting table. And you can also use your ender chest as well instead of a chest, and that'll make like an ender chest version. And then what you'll also see is that there's an empowered version. What you do to make this is you get one of those lightning grenades and you throw it on the floor and then strike it with lightning like that, and you'll get an empowered one. This one will never disappear. So you can basically get a portable ender chest that will never disappear, even if you drop it. It will not despawn. It cannot be destroyed in lava, cannot disappear when dropped, etc. So you've got a little inventory there that can be really, really useful. And lastly, the last miscellaneous item I want to show you is the display stand. This will display items for you. So let's say my book. Oh, how lovely. I've displayed that on the display stand. Put my water container on there. Put my lightning grenade on there. It can display whatever you like. It can be really nice if you like decorative stuff. Now we're going to look at Vengeance Spirits. So, really cool ring we can make called a Vengeance Ring. Again, it's really, really easy with just some crushed dark gems. And what you can do with it is shift right-click it and turn it on, and it will give us a jump boost free, invisibility, haste, and speed. However, we are going to attract Vengeance Spirits. It says here it might attract or summon them. Sometimes I think it will just passively summon them to annoy you, so do watch out for that. But they're really not that annoying. With the Vengeance Ring, you can actually upgrade it into a Vengeance Focus. And that just has the ring and, again, some crushed dark gems, etc. What we can do with this is actually capture Vengeance Spirits. And I know you're probably thinking, what's a Vengeance Spirit? You're going to see one in a second. And the way we're going to catch them is in a box of Eternal Closure. So, box of Eternal Closure. Yeah, really easy to make. Just need a Potion of Weakness and some other stuff. So what happens is, when you use this ring and you kill a mob, let's say I kill this pig here. Is that not right? Ah, I'm on peaceful. I was thinking, that is definitely how you do it. I would know. I'm making the tutorial. So we kill a pig. And what you're going to see here is this Vengeance Spirit has spawned in front of it. And it will basically come up to you and try and attack you. And it'll be from every single mob. It doesn't really do much. But what we could do with our Vengeance Focus, if you right-click it, can you see this beam shooting down? We can right-click it, and oh my goodness, can you see this? We can sort of push it towards. I think because there's two, it's kind of getting stuck. If I delete one, what you'll see is I can right-click on the Vengeance Spirit, and it's going to go into the box of Eternal Closure. Ta-da! It's now in there. I can right-click it again, and it will let it out. And then again, I'm just going to right-click it, and it's now trapped in the box of Eternal Closure. Try and just kill the mobs near the box, and it will make it a lot easier to capture them. But it will work for everything. Like if I do a spider over here, you see there's a Vengeance Spirit for the spider. And if you don't want to do this, you could just literally... I'm in creative, so it's not attacking me, but it'll just attack you and then disappear. So you just right-click with the Vengeance Focus, and you do it near the box, because look, far away, it kind of just stands there. Doesn't really do anything. You want to make sure you're killing whatever you're killing near your little box, wherever the hell it's gone. If you are getting loads of them because you love the buffs that you're getting from this ring, what you can make is a burning gemstone by simply smelting up a dark block, which is just the dark gems, into a burning gemstone. Passively converts Vengeance Spirit damage to hunger. So instead of them doing damage to you, they will just make you hungry. You can even make yourself invisible to them completely by making some spectral glasses. But again, that is going to need the Garmonbozia that we haven't got yet. Personally, just using this Vengeance Ring with a jump boost, invisibility, haste, and speed is massively worth it, in my opinion. And that concludes the first age. As you can see, I'm invisible. And now we're moving on to what we call the second age in the book, which is where things get really exciting. This now brings us to part 2 of the guide, which is the second age, or at least that's what they call it in the book here, the second age. So blood extraction, the powers of blood, blood infusion, and just doing loads of stuff with blood, basically. So the first things first is we actually want to start getting blood. It is the main resource in Evilcraft. So this is going to be blood extraction. So remember I said about making some spikes, etc.? What we actually want to do is make a blood extractor. With 3 spikes, some glass, and a dark gem, we get the blood extractor. Hold in inventory when slaying mobs. Shift right click to extract or auto supply. And that means auto supply it to the things that need blood that are going to be in your inventory, etc. So as you can see, when I kill these creepers, these spiders, you can see the syringe in my inventory is slowly filling up with blood. And as default, it can hold about 5 buckets. If you do want to hold more, and can you see on the bottom right of the screen as well that there's a little blood like level as well? What we could do is get one extractor, get another one, and put it in our inventory in the crafting table, and now it can store 10 millibuckets. Put another one in, and it's 15. If you hold all 9 of them, it's 45. I can take that. And then we can just keep going. I don't know how far it can go. This one can now do 70, etc., blah, blah, blah. If you do have multiple full ones, like this one has 2,000, this one has 5,000, it will actually fill that up as well to now say 7,000. What I could do is spawn in. How far does this go? I mean, I've gone up to 365 buckets, etc. So I would say you can do at least 1,000 buckets of blood here. Just keep going and going and going if you wish. One other thing you can even do is actually get a dark tank. For example, these hold 16 buckets of blood, and you can add these on as well. And the same thing again, you can add multiple of them around it to keep making more. Now it's going to store half a million millibuckets, etc. So you can use dark tanks as well for that. What we can actually do with this blood extractor is make a little pool and right click, and it'll actually put a source block of blood like this. Now, if it is exposed to the sky and it is not raining, then this blood will actually slowly harden. I think it's about 3 minutes or so, I would say, that this one block here has taken. I literally stood here and watched it. So it will actually harden as well. So, oh, and that one actually done it straight away. So maybe it's like random growth ticks. So as long as you have 5 or more source blocks of blood, you can throw your dark gem in. And as you can see, it's actually soaked up the 5 source blocks of blood, and it has turned into a dark power gem. If you use a pickaxe or just your fists on this hardened blood, it will actually turn into the liquid blood again. And if you break it with a flint and steel, however, let's break the hardened blood with a flint of steel. Not like that. So left click it. So actually like break it with the flint and steel. I know you want to right click because it's usually how you use the flint and steel, but left click to actually break it as if you're using it like a pickaxe. And what you'll then get is hardened blood shards. And it says here, break hardened blood with a flint and steel. So just to recap, you can use your blood extractor to make a pool of blood. You need to have at least 5 source blocks to be able to then throw your dark gem in to then turn it into a dark power gem. It will not work with less than 5 source blocks. You can also pick up the hardened blood and then use it in a smelter to get 9 hardened blood shards. To be able to do this, however, you will need Silk Touch on your pickaxe. So if you break it with a pickaxe, you get the hardened blood, and you can then use that in a smelter to actually get 9 hardened blood shards instead. What we're then going to do, because you are going to want both of these, is surround the hardened blood shards on the outside and get a dark power gem that you've made to make a blood infusion core. The first thing, well, there's a few things we can make with it. The first thing you can make with it is going to be a blood chest. Now, this isn't an ordinary chest, as you could probably guess. You can actually bathe your tools in the blood that are in it. So if I place the blood chest down, as you can see, it's really stunning. And it does have a tank inside for blood. Now, you can shift, right-click your blood extractor on the chest to fill it up. So now when I go in there, it is full. Or you can place it in the left-hand slot here. There's a little blood drop icon. You can put the blood extractor in there too. Now, what will actually happen in here is that when you put your tools in here, the damage on your tools will slowly disappear. However, you are... Oh, see, the durability on my diamond sword, voila, it has suddenly just disappeared. Now, this will, of course, will slowly use the blood, and as well, it will actually sometimes cause your items to get bad effects, like the Curse of Breaking enchant. There are going to be ways to get rid of those later. So, it's not free. When you put it in here, the cost of blood to repair your tools, and obviously you can put, multiple tools in here, and you could just see it's all instantly just repaired. There is a chance that you will get negative enchants on here. The next thing we can make is going to be the Blood Infuser, which is just the Blood Infusion core surrounded by cobblestone. And this is going to do probably what you think it's going to do. It's going to infuse things with blood, to be honest. I blood extract it in here and just watch it all fill up. It's really quite sick, this mod, isn't it? So what can we do with the Blood Infuser? Well, it's a much easier way of getting your dark gems. All you need is 250 millibuckets rather than 5 buckets of blood and a dark gem and 10 seconds, and you will then get your dark power gem. So it's a much, much cheaper way of getting those dark power gems. So really, you only need to actually do the other thing like once or twice, where you throw it in the pool. Another thing you can see you can make here is a dead bush. You can turn into an undead sapling. Grows as an undead tree. What else can we put in here? Oh yes, lots of other... There's things like bloody cobblestone, which can be decorative, etc. I'll let you look through these on your own. So if we get an undead sapling from a dead bush, and then bone meal it. Oh, that is, if you could see that, that is just a lovely tree, isn't it? And it actually drops blood stains on the floor. So it's actually a free way of getting blood. It's actually quite cool. Yes, it will actually drop blood on the floor periodically. The next thing we can make with Blood Infusion is the Promises Bowl. Bowl of empty promises with just 3 dark power gems. And then what we could do with this is then add some crushed dark gems, which remember you can get by using Fortune when mining the dark gems, and get a dusted bowl of promises. What we can then do is make tier upgrades. So with 5 buckets of blood in your Blood Infuser, it will make the Bowl of Promises tier 0. For a tier 1, you need a Promise of Tenacity 1. What you can see is you can use it in your Blood Infuser, your Colossal Blood Chest, your Sanguinary Environmental Accumulator, Spirit Furnace, and Spirit Reanimator. Machine tier upgrade, also usable for lower tier recipes. Tank capacity ×2. So what you do is you make a Promise of Tenacity 1, which is used with a tier 0 and a iron Promise Acceptor and a Spider's Eye. And the Promise Acceptor, you basically just infuse the block of iron in your Blood Infuser to get that. And then tier 2 is the second one, which again would then be a gold version. And the gold version needs the iron one and an ender pearl. As you can see here, you can just work it back through. Then the number 3 is an Eye of Ender and a diamond one. Diamond one needing a gold one. And I think that's the last tier. Yes, it is. So these are basically upgrades that you can use in your machine. A Bowl of Promises tier 3, for example. You can also use for things like a Promise of Productivity. Machine blood efficiency is 1 times 1.5. Or a promise of velocity. Machine speed is twice as fast. So you can use this to upgrade your machines, and it shows you what machines from Evilcraft you can use these in. And when you go into your Blood Infuser, for example, on the top left here, that's where I can put my promise of velocity to increase my machine speed times 2. So there's the slots up there for you. Using these as well, like the promise of tenacity, etc., you can do some transmutations. Humanoid flesh with a promise of tenacity will make leather using a bit of blood. You can turn dirt into grass. You can use the promise of tenacity of a book to make a book, which we'll be using later. Coal into blood waxed coal, which doubles your coal efficiency. Very interesting. And all sorts of things like that. Maybe at this point it's getting a bit annoying using all these extractors, etc. Well, I have got the answer for you. It's the Sanguinary Pedestal. Drains blood from blood stains in the area. And we just use some dark power gem blocks, etc. to make this. Dark gems. Now you can upgrade it with the powered version, of which you can put a spiked plate on top of it. One of these damages mobs placed on pedestal to drain the blood. So you can basically drain blood of mobs from these pedestals. So remember, we've got the undead tree here. Well, I can place down the powered sanguinary pedestal. And as you can see, as the blood drops from the undead tree are dropping, we now have a passive way of collecting blood into this pedestal forever, as well as, putting on a spiked plate so it can get blood from mobs that go on top of it. Now, one thing that it can also do is if you put a dark tank next to it, it's actually going to start putting the blood from the pedestal itself into the dark tank around it. And there you go. You've got passive ways of storing them. And don't forget, you can upgrade these tanks as well. Now, you may also remember that we had the chest where we can take off the durability on our weapons, etc. here, but it can accidentally have some bad effects as well. So maybe you've gotten bad effects from, I don't know, wherever, or maybe it's from here. How do we get around this? Well, for that, it's the Purifier. If you have a tool like this Vengeance pickaxe, so I don't know if it'll work on this one because it's a specialist one, but if you put your tool in here that has the bad effect on it, and then you put in a bucket of blood into the Purifier as well, then it will take off the bad effects from your weapons. So if you do repair them in the blood chest and then get bad effects from them, you can simply use the Purifier as the next step to purify them of any negative effects there. What you can also do is, if we get some blood here and completely fill it, 3 buckets worth, put the weapon in there, like my pickaxe, as you can see here, and then also get a book, which is a book with a promise of tenacity and some blood in a blood infuser. Get the book and right-click the book in there. You can see something is happening, and boom, the blood is gone. And if I right-click it again, I get my pickaxe out without any enchants, and it has now put Silk Touch onto the book. As well as taking off bad effects, you can use the blooks, not books, blooks, to actually take off good effects from your weapons and store them onto the books that you'd like. And it also has a third thing it can do. Just like I've done it with that weapon, you can actually put a living creature inside that has any kind of potion effect on it. And then all you have to do is put an empty bottle in there with the blood, of course. So let's say you have a pig in there that has invisibility. Put the pig in there and then put an empty bottle in there with loads of blood in the actual Purifier itself. And then you'll actually get the potion effect in the bottle as well, and the creature will be freed of whatever potion effects they have. Speaking of doing things passively, we can also make enchanted chalices here. Now, normally you will make 2, but you can make more of them by putting 1 in your inventory, which will then make 2. So 0 of them, hope this makes sense, 0 of them makes 2, as you can see here, and then you can actually just put 1 back in your inventory. So you've got 2, you put 1 back in the crafting table to make 2. So then you've got 3. Now, the blood is actually split amongst all of them. So when I place this one down and fill it with 2, 3, or 4 buckets, and then place more of them down, can you see they've all got 4 buckets? Meaning, if you had one, say, next to your powered Sanguini pedestal, and it's filling the chalice in your inventory will also be full. And you can shift right click to enable it, as you can see here, where it will try and fill any anything in your inventory that actually has blood. So it'll try to continuously fill all containers in your inventory with blood. It's a great way of passively getting blood into your inventory for whatever you're using it for. If your blood chest here is too small and you've actually got more stuff that you want to fix, and you actually want to upgrade this as well, unfortunately this one doesn't have any upgrade slots for your promises, etc. What we can make is a colossal version. So we can make a 3x3 hollow version like this of the colossal chest, and you won't get any negative effects in this one. All you have to do is put 1 colossal blood chest in the wall. Ta-da! Doesn't matter where, you just have to put somewhere in it an actual colossal blood chest as well, which is made like this, and then the rest of it is reinforced undead planks. So all planks, hollow, 3x3, and then fill it in with 1 colossal blood chest. And there we go, you've got a colossal blood chest. It's actually made by the same creator as the Colossal Chests mod. That's why this is in here, which is funny. You've got some upgrade slots in here using the promises I showed you. And you've got a much bigger blood tank and you won't get any negative effects. But it is only best used if you do have a lot to use, as it's going to be more efficient the more items you put in here to repair. If you only put 1 item in, it's going to use quite a lot of blood, whereas using loads is going to be quite efficient. And the last item I'm going to show you in the Evolved Blood Machinery chapter is going to be the Sanguinary Environmental Accumulator. So remember we went to those dark temples out at the start of the tutorial. So we can actually make a craftable one of our own using a Blood Infusion core, Garmonbozia, which I'm aware I haven't shown you how to get yet, an environmental accumulation core obtained when breaking a regular one. So when you break these regular ones in the temples, what you will gain is this environmental accumulation core. And just some blocks of iron, etc. You can make a sanguinary environmental accumulator. So basically one that you can put wherever the hell you like. So let's place it here, for example. Now, as you can see, there's loads of little bits of dust, etc. going around. And what we need to place there are 8 tanks of blood. 1 here, 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 and, oh, is that right? No, 1 here. Now, these all need to be full of blood enabled to be able to use this. And when they are full of blood, you can then use the Sanguinary Environmental Accumulator. What can you do in it? Well, it's pretty much the same as the base one. You can upgrade this one with your promises as well. And again, you can put in your weather containers and things like that and your crafters in here. Moving on to the tools that we have in the mod, and there is quite a lot of them. We first up have the broom. Now, this is a really interesting piece of equipment here. So if we look at the broom here, you'll notice that you don't have any recipe for it. And that's because it is made from parts. And you are actually able to fly on these. You can see there's maneuverability, levitation, acceleration, and speed. Parts, wheat brush, dark gem cap, and a wooden rod. And you can see you can also put modifiers on here. So they are made of 3 parts. The rod is the basis of your broom, and this will influence its main properties. The brush is needed to make it maneuverable, and a cap is the balance. So if we go into a crafting grid, what you'll see is that, let's say, the three parts, so the rod, the brush, and the cap. So we have the... In fact, maybe it's not implemented on this version of Minecraft. Well, that's interesting. So basically, if you are playing with a version that it's on, what you do is you get the... Let's say this is the bare rod part, and you want to make it with wood. You just put it in like that, so you get the bare rod and the material you want to use it with, and you put that in the crafting table, and it will make you a bare rod of that material. And parts of different materials have different properties. You do need to provide it with blood at all times to ride the broom as well. As you can see, it's got 10,000 blood here. And if you do have a version where it's in, these are the modifiers. So if you want the best modifiers, if you just want complete max, you can go with Garmonbozia and a Never Star. Speed is going to be redstone. Acceleration is coal. Maneuverability is glowstone. Feathers and phantom membranes are going to be the best for levitation. Collision damage is going to be nether quartz or iron spikes. If you want particles on it, gunpowder. Flames on it, blaze powder. Bouncy, sturdiness, etc. You can see here, what's this? This is obsidian. Efficiency, you've got blood, a dark power gem, which means it will use less blood. You want it to be able to go for swimming. Icy, I don't know what it means, and sticky. So those are the modifiers. I'm sorry I can't actually show you this. I'm playing it on 1.21.1. This is really unfortunate. There is the Blood Pearl of Teleportation. This is another tool we have. This one is using Ender Pearls and Dark Power Gems. So it's basically an upgraded Ender Pearl. And it's reusable, but with blood. So you just fill it up with blood, and you can use it as a reusable Ender Pearl. There is the Invigorating Pendant. This one will remove bad potion effects. Of course, again, usable with blood. And it can even extinguish fire for you. And then an upgrade of that is the Primed Pendant. And what this can do is it can hold one potion. So you can use it with your potion in the crafting table. You can insert new potions by simply right-clicking with the item, sorry, for that one. And this will actually be able to hold a potion effect. If you want speed or something as a potion, you can then just right-click it with the Primed Pendant and actually get that effect. This effortless ring here gives you promise of velocity and productivity, meaning you can walk faster, jump higher, and step more easily on blocks. You can hold it anywhere in your inventory to gain its effect. You don't need the baubles add-on. Step assist can be avoided if you don't want that by just using shift and holding shift. We have the Kineticator. This is basically a magnet. You can shift right-click to toggle attraction and right-click to change how big of an area you want. And then the repelling version does the opposite. We have the Scepter of Thunder. This is basically going to be able to actually spawn lightning, but you can only use it once each time, which is annoying. It does say on there, single use. We've got the Vengeance Pickaxe. It does have Curse of Vengeance 3, although it has Fortune 5, meaning it is, absolutely amazing at getting Fortune. You choose some dark sticks. And oh, look, guys, it is in the mod. What you could do, bare cap. It doesn't seem to come up in my JEI, but we have got the bare rod, the bare cap, etc. So like I was saying earlier, just going back to the broom, you can see here, like for the dark gem cap, you can shift on each item. So you just use the items in there with the item. It's like the rod, bones to get the bone rod and things like that. And there's the skull cap. Well, you can see all the different parts you can make with these in here, like I showed you, kind of thing. So if you try to find it and you're having the same problem in JI, what I done is I went to dark stick and looked at use on dark sticks, because that's how you make the bare brush here. This is how you make the bare rod. And then skull cap, I'm not sure, 1 second. So the bear rod, what you then do is you then use that bear one with, say, bones to make it into a bone rod, etc. Skull cap is made with two crushed dark gems and a dark gem. So there you go. That's how you make the 3 items for the broom. We've also got a gemstone torch, needing a burning gemstone. I think I showed you this one earlier. It's by smelting a dark block. And this gives you 4 gemstone torches. It blocks vengeance spirit spawning around you. So that's a way of getting rid of those annoying spirits. Those are all the tools that we can make. We also have some weapons. There's the Vein Sword, which has 2 looting on it. As well as that, it will also boost how much blood you get when you are killing mobs. We've got the Mace of Distortion. Holding right-click with that is going to build up a circular sphere around it. Let's give it a go, shall we? We right-click with it. You see I'm building up a big boom. And then when you release it, it's going to trigger a force on nearby enemies. So I use it, right-click. Yeah, not very exciting there, but it uses blood, so that's why. So it's going to knock them back as long as the mace itself has enough blood. I can shift right-click to set power 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's as high as it goes. So let's see on power 4, which again is shift right-clicking with the mace. If I hold right-click and then release, wow! It's not too bad. So as you can see again, right-click and boom! Oh, and they've all turned into vengeance spirits. Oh my good lord. One of my favourites is the Necromancer staff here. I can right-click. And what you're going to see is this is actually going to spawn zombies for you on the mobs that you attack. So I've got some skulls here. This one is going to use any sort of skull. Some dark power gems and empowered inverted potentia. Which is just using an inverted potentia in the environmental accumulator, and that is making a potentia sphere, and that is made as you can see here. So you can follow that back. So what we do is once we've made it, right click on a mob, and it's going to summon that zombie to attack that mob. So if I do it like in the middle of nowhere, nothing happens. If I target it on the spider, what you'll see is when it hits the spider, it's then summoning a million zombies to attack that mob. And then when the mob dies that you've summoned them to attack, they all disappear. So you must make sure you actually right-click the mob you want to summon the zombies on. So I can right-click on that zombie, make sure the skull hits it, and that's how it will work. And then we have the Mace of Destruction. And same with this one, you can shift right-click to set the power up to 4. And if we right-click and release, we've made a big hole in the ground. And that's what a size 4 explosion here looks like. So that is all of the tools and all of the weapons that we can get in Evilcraft. Remember earlier when we looked at these boxes of eternal closures? Well, we can make these into mob farms. Let's get a zombie, and a way I like to do this is to kill the mob first and then place down the box so that it's easy to get it in there. So I'm going to kill this zombie as an example here. Okay, zombie's dead. Put down my box of closure and then use my vengeance focus to get it into the box. You can see it's now closed. I'm now going to click it with my pickaxe and break the box, and you'll see the box stays closed. So when I pick it up, it says contents zombie. What I can then do is make a spirit furnace. So this is going to use dark blood bricks, which you use with blood in the blood infuser, just using normal dark bricks. And what we need to do is make a cage for the zombie. So you need to make sure that the hole is actually big enough to house whatever you're farming. In this case, a zombie. So put a base like that. And remember that a zombie is 2 high and 1 wide. So you basically need to make sure that you have a 2x1 slot inside that is free. And you can even make this for like big for ghasts. It can go up to like 19x19, I think. So you can do massive mobs, but it must have the dimensions inside of the mob that is available. So, you know, a zombie or a skeleton or a creeper will fit in a 1x2 hole in the middle. Then we can close it off. So on top, there we go. And you'll know it's worked because the blood will start kind of rippling like it is here. Now, what we need to actually put into it is somewhere on it the spirit furnace. So I'm just going to put on the wall here the spirit furnace. And now I can actually right-click and enter it as a multi-block. So what I'm going to now want to do is fill it with blood, of course. And it does use quite a lot of blood. Got a dark tank in here. You can put upgrades in here, same as before. And can you see that you've got a little slot available that looks the same as your blocks of eternal closure? Well, we can put that box in there. And using blood, you have made a passive mob farm. So it's going to keep reanimating the vengeance spirit and actually giving you zombie loot. Now, it's just got to the end and nothing has come out. So it's not going to guarantee you loot every single time. But basically, this is going to give us loot that would drop from a zombie. Think rotten flesh and zombie heads and potatoes. So there we go. It's got 1 rotten flesh and 1 potato. And this is a passive mob farm. You can see it is using a lot of blood to do this, however. But it is passive forever. And what you could do is set up some undead trees nearby, like this one over here. And what I would do is then have the powered sanguini pedestal. Imagine you had loads of these trees hooked up to these pedestals, all gathering blood, and they're being piped out maybe into a chalice. So the chalice, pipe the blood into a chalice, put another chalice over where your mob farm is, because remember, chalices are all linked, like an ender chest, but for blood. And then have it going into your spirit furnace here, and you can farm whatever mob you like indefinitely. We can go one step further with a spirit reanimator here, where simply you do the exact same thing. You put the box in here, but what it's going to do is it's going to reanimate it into a spawn egg. I believe this only happens once. Let's test it out. I don't think you could just keep making spawn eggs. Let's put this box, this zombie one in here. So with the spirit furnace, it is infinite. It's just an infinite mob farm. The spirit reanimator should be working. Doesn't look like it's working, does it? Oh, you need to put an actual egg in there. Just get a boring old Minecraft egg and put that in there. And there we go. I was thinking, I swear I'm missing something. And it takes about sort of 20 seconds or so. As you can see, it's slowly going through the process. But this is going to turn the contents of the zombie, using some blood and the egg, into a zombie spawn egg for you. So you can make a mob farm with the spirit furnace, and you can make spawn eggs with the spirit reanimator. And there you go. Yeah, it does actually only work once. You can see the contents of the box of eternal closure is now empty, and the zombie has now been stored in a zombie spawn egg. And finally, guys, I'm going to show you how to make Garmonbozia. Why does it sound like some sort of Italian meal? So, Garmonbozia. This is the final ingredient and the final item you'll be making in Evilcraft. It is used to make the rejuvenated flesh. It is used to make the sanguinary environmental accumulator. It's used to make the mace of destruction, some spectral glasses, and also the primed pendants. There's some really nice items you can make with it. So what you first want to do is upgrade your vengeance focus using some popped chorus fruit, your basic vengeance focus, and 2 blood orbs, which you get by getting an empty orb, which is just some glass and iron, a promise of tenacity 1 and some blood. You can make a blood orb in your blood infuser, and some end crystals, which you can actually make. Is this the usual Minecraft recipe? A ghast here, eye of ender, and some glass. See, the hilarious thing about me, everyone watching, is I know so much about so many mods, and I do all these tutorials. Vanilla Minecraft, haven't got a clue. Clueless. Absolutely clueless. So you want to make some end crystals, 4 of them. Surround all this around your vengeance focus, and you can make a piercing vengeance focus. And what this one does is the right-hand beam that you shoot out can actually kill the spirits. So if I kill this spider, which leaves a vengeance spirit, and then I right-click it with my vengeance beam, it can take a while to kill them. Just keep firing away and firing away at that vengeance spirit. Eventually it will die, and it will drop this dust here. And this is vengeance essence. Drops when killing a vengeance spirit. And the only way to actually kill them is by using the piercing vengeance focus. So vengeance essence, surround it with crushed dark gem, and you will get a materialized vengeance essence. Put this in your blood infuser, and then you want to use some blood, etc. Promise of tenacity 3. And after a minute, you will get the Garmonbozia. And there you have it, everyone. You have now... How do I turn this off? You have now completed Evilcraft. I hope this video was useful for you. We've gone over quite a lot in it. Evilcraft offers some really cool options of doing things like mob farms. It's great in adventure packs with the things that you can do to upgrade your character, etc. with potions and abilities. If you have enjoyed it, please do check out my channel. What you will see here on my channel is that I cover everything modded Minecraft. I have a whole shelf on my homepage here with all of my different mods that I've covered. Oh, we don't want to play all. I have a shelf for tech mods and also magic mods, etc., etc. I'd love to hear what mods you want. You can comment down below for that. You can join my Discord in case you have any issues with any mods and you want some extra guidance, etc. And I am going to be starting up a Minecraft server and streaming, etc. soon, this spring after I filmed this video, depending when you watched it. Do join Discord to be in the know for all of that as well. But please do click that subscribe button, comment down below your thoughts, as it really does help support the channel.